Is blindness a barrier? No.
Is deafness a barrier? No.
Are mobility, learning, cognitive disabilities, speech impairments and others, or even a combination of them, barriers? No way. Lack of accessibility is.
Welcome to Web Accessibility for All.
Follow the blind. This journey starts now.
Welcome, my friend, to Web Accessibility for All, the podcast that digs deep into the digital world, making sure no one gets left behind. Today we are tackling a seemingly simple topic that is surprisingly complex: numbers. I am your host, Ariel, and we are going to explore how we can make numbers accessible for everyone, especially those who rely on assistive technologies or have learning differences. You know, numbers are everywhere online, from financial transactions to product quantities. They are essential, but for many users, they can be a source of frustration and confusion.
1. Why numbers matter.
The human element. How misunderstood or misread numbers affect real lives.
Beyond the technical hurdles, there's the human element. We are talking about real people, real lives. Imagine trying to manage your finances when you can't trust the numbers you're hearing. Imagine an elderly person who is not used to digital interfaces, making them more prone to errors.
Neurodivergent challenges.
Neurodivergent individuals, particularly those with dyscalculia or other learning differences, can face unique challenges when processing and understanding numbers. It's crucial to consider these needs when designing accessible digital content.
Dyscalculia and number processing.
This learning disability affects an individual's ability to understand number-related concepts, perform accurate calculations, and grasp mathematical principles.
Other cognitive considerations.
Autism spectrum disorder can sometimes involve challenges with abstract concepts, including mathematical reasoning. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, can affect focus and working memory, making it difficult to process multi-step calculations. Language processing disorders can impact the ability to understand and use mathematical vocabulary. Some neurodivergent individuals may have sensory sensitivities that make it difficult to process visually cluttered or complex numerical data.
2. Making numbers work with screen readers.
Inconsistencies in reading symbols.
Screen readers interpret symbols inconsistently, which can be problematic, depending on the screen reader's settings and the web page's code. Punctuation like commas and periods might be read literally or as separators.
1, 2, 3, 4.5, 6.
This is further complicated by regional differences where commas and periods are reversed.
1234,56.
Screen readers also often struggle with decimal separators, units, and even basic mathematical symbols like plus and minus signs. Some screen readers might ignore symbols, while others read them literally or incorrectly. Even the standard keyboard hyphen or minus character can be interpreted in multiple ways, leading to inconsistent results. Let's cover some recommendations to have in mind.
1. Use explicit textual representation.
The most reliable approach is to use explicit text. Instead of relying solely on symbols, include the words plus or minus in the text. For instance, increase of 10 or decrease of 5. This approach ensures that screen readers accurately convey the intended meaning.
2. Use ARIA attributes.
Use ARIA attributes to provide additional context for screen readers. The ARIA label or ARIA described by attributes can be used to explicitly state plus or minus. This allows you to maintain the visual representation while providing accurate information for screen reader users.
3. Prefer correct Unicode characters.
Use the correct Unicode characters for plus and minus signs. Ensure you are using the true minus character, which is U2212, instead of the hyphen minus sign. However, be aware that even with correct Unicode characters, screen reader interpretations can vary.
4. Provide context around numbers.
Provide ample context around the numbers. For example, instead of putting the plus sign next to a 10% text, use a 10% increase. This helps all users, including those who rely on screen readers, to understand the meaning of the numbers.
5. Maintain consistent presentation.
Maintain a consistent presentation throughout the web page or application. If you use textual representations in one place, use them in all places. Consistency reduces confusion and improves usability.
6. Testing with multiple screen readers.
Thoroughly test your web page or application with various screen readers, NVDA, JAWS, VoiceOver, to ensure consistent and accurate interpretation. This is crucial for identifying and resolving any accessibility issues.
3. Handling units and percentages.
How we handle percentages and units significantly impacts accessibility. Here's a breakdown of best practices.
Percentages.
Generally, it's recommended to include a space between the number and the percent sign. This enhances readability for both visual and screen reader users. Always provide a context for the percentage. What does it represent? For example, 50% of the users or a 10% increase. If the percentage refers to a change, specify whether it's an increase or decrease. Use proper HTML markup. If possible, use the non-breaking space character to ensure the number and percent sign stay together on the same line.
Units of measurement.
Similar to percentages, a space between the number and the unit is usually preferred. This improves readability and prevents screen readers from misinterpreting the unit as part of the number. Use full unit names whenever possible. If abbreviations are necessary, use standard, unambiguous abbreviations. Always provide context for the unit. What does it measure? When dealing with temperature, be sure to specify the scale: Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin. If you're using very specific units, it's good to provide a hidden text that explains the unit in full detail.
4. Inclusive design solutions.
Now let's talk some practical solutions that will help all users.
1. Simplify and clarify numerical information.
Use clear and concise language when presenting numerical information. Avoid overly complex or abstract mathematical notation. Break down multi-step calculations into smaller, more manageable steps.
2. Use visual aids.
Use visual aids such as diagrams, graphs, and charts to illustrate numerical relationships. Use color coding to highlight key numerical information. Provide interactive visualizations that allow users to manipulate numerical data. Use different colors to differentiate information, but always provide alternative ways to differentiate the same information, as color blindness is also common.
3. Provide multiple formats.
Provide numerical information in multiple formats, such as text, audio, and video. Allow users to adjust the font size, color, and contrast of numerical data. Provide audio explanations of numerical concepts and calculations.
4. Use consistent language and avoid jargon.
Use consistent and unambiguous language when referring to numerical concepts. Avoid jargon or technical terms that may be confusing. Provide definitions or explanations for any specialized vocabulary.
5. Offer interactive tools.
Offer interactive tools such as calculators or number line visualizations to help users perform calculations and understand numerical relationships. Provide step-by-step instructions and feedback for interactive exercises.
5. Math and formulas.
Now, when we venture into the realm of mathematical formulas, there is specific language for that called MathML. MathML, or Mathematical Markup Language, is an XML-based language specifically designed to represent mathematical notation on the web. Unlike images or plain text, MathML provides semantic meaning to mathematical expressions, but getting into all the nitty-gritty details about MathML, that's a whole other really interesting thing. It's probably best if we save that for its own special talk.
6. Standards and resources.
While isn't a dedicated number section, the core principles of the WCAG apply to numerical data. Semantic HTML, ARIA attributes, and MathML are essential tools for making numbers accessible. The ARIA Authoring Practices Guide, APG, provides guidance on using ARIA attributes to enhance accessibility of web content. It includes examples and best practices for creating accessible interactive elements that display or manipulate numerical data. The W3C's Internationalization Working Group provides guidance on adapting web content to different languages and cultures. This includes recommendations for formatting numbers, dates, and currencies according to locale-specific conventions. That brings us to the end of our exploration into the world of accessible numbers. I hope this episode has shed some light on the challenges many users face, and more importantly, empowered you with practical steps to make your own digital creations more inclusive. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Remember, every small step we take towards accessibility makes a big difference in someone's life. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us today. Subscribe for a new challenge next week. And don't be shy. Leave us a review or ask your accessibility questions online. See you next week for another episode of Web Accessibility for All.